The calculus of survival in a hostile environment national power is rarely a static endowment of sheer geography or abundant natural resources. In the modern era, particularly within the volatility of the Middle East, statecraft requires a dynamic synthesis of military readiness, economic resilience, and technological superiority. For the State of Israel, these factors are not merely measures of prosperity, but the fundamental parameters of its existence. Since its founding in 1948, Israel has existed in a state of chronic geopolitical friction, surrounded by larger and frequently hostile neighbors, and lacking the strategic depth to absorb a decisive military defeat. This reality forced a unique strategic doctrine upon the nation. It had to innovate faster, gather better intelligence, and act with greater decisiveness than its adversaries to maintain a qualitative military edge, QME. Over the decades, this imperative has evolved into an extraordinary national asset. By fusing cutting-edge technological innovation, world-class intelligence apparatuses, and agile geopolitical maneuvering, Israel has transformed its geographical and demographic vulnerabilities into a robust, multidimensional power. Analyzing the modern Israeli state requires unpacking this triad. What began as a mere survival mechanism has matured into a sophisticated doctrine of national power, characterized by the legendary prowess of its intelligence agencies, the dynamic entrepreneurial energy of the startup nation, and a pragmatic transactional diplomacy that continues to reshape alliances across the globe. From the perspective of a geopolitical analyst, Israel represents one of the most compelling case studies in 21st century statecraft, a small nation that has engineered itself into an indispensable global actor whose strategies and technologies hold massive implications for international security and the global economy. The bedrock of necessity. Innovation born of scarcity to understand Israeli innovation. One must look past the glowing reports of Silicon Valley venture capitalists and understand the foundational element of necessity. From its inception, the country faced severe resource constraints. Cut off from regional trade routes, burdened by immense defense expenditures, and lacking basic commodities like oil and water, Israel had to engineer its way to prosperity. This necessity catalyzed an ethos of resourcefulness, long-term vision, and a tolerance for risk. When a state's physical survival is in question, the penalty for technological stagnation is severe. Consequently, the Israeli government, alongside private enterprise and academia, fostered a deeply integrated innovation ecosystem. This triple helix model of collaboration, linking government institutions, such as the Israel Innovation Authority, world-class research universities, and a highly competitive private sector, has generated an environment uniquely suited to rapid technological development. Colloquially known as the startup nation, Israel boasts the highest density of startups per capita in the world. While its early technological successes were in fields like agriculture and water management, which later served as the bedrock for early diplomatic outreach in the developing world, Israel's technological focus has decisively shifted toward deep tech. Today, the nation is a global powerhouse in cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, quantum technology, and aerospace engineering. For the Israeli economy, the high-tech sector is the primary economic engine, generating over 50% of the country's total exports and accounting for a massive share of its recent GDP growth. The tech ecosystem provides the financial oxygen required to fund the state's heavy defense and intelligence budgets. In the contemporary era, technology is more than just an economic driver. It is a vital tool of statecraft. By supplying the world with essential cybersecurity frameworks, agricultural technologies, and defense innovations, Israel ensures that major global powers possess a quiet, structural dependency on its intellectual output. However, the innovation engine does not operate in a vacuum. Its most critical incubator is the defense and intelligence establishment. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, and particularly elite technological units like Unit 8200 function as the central training ground for Israel's tech leaders. Mandatory military service places highly capable young individuals in environments where they are tasked with solving complex problems in cybersecurity, AI development, and advanced communications. Upon completing their service, these veterans transition into the private sector, bringing with them a culture of execution, leadership, and a deep understanding of complex network systems. This unique pipeline ensures a constant flow of human capital from the security establishment to the commercial tech ecosystem, driving an endless cycle of innovation that ultimately loops back to bolster the nation's defense capabilities. The intelligence imperative, information superiority, and asymmetric edge in modern geopolitics. Information is the most valuable currency, and intelligence is the ultimate guarantor of national security. For Israel, surrounded by actors that continually seek to challenge its existence, intelligence gathering and threat detection are fundamental. The psychological impact of constant security concerns has deeply influenced Israeli society and government, resulting in a culture that prioritizes preparation, rapid decision-making, and early threat detection. The nation simply lacks the geographic room for military mistakes or delayed responses in wartime, meaning its intelligence agencies must operate with flawless precision. Israel's intelligence apparatus is widely recognized as one of the most capable in the world, renowned for its human intelligence networks, sophisticated signals intelligence, SIGINT, and willingness to execute complex, covert operations. Central to this ecosystem are agencies like the Mossad, responsible for foreign intelligence and covert operations, and the elite IDF units, such as Unit 8200, that serve as the technological backbone of Israel's signals intelligence operations. Over the past decade, the nature of intelligence has undergone a profound transformation. The traditional paradigm of espionage has been completely revolutionized by the integration of artificial intelligence, big data analytics, and cyber capabilities. The battle space itself has compressed. Intelligence agencies no longer just collect and analyze data over days or weeks. Today, machine learning algorithms and vast networks of miniaturized satellites and drones allow Israeli systems to ingest massive quantities of data, synthesize it, and generate actionable insights in a matter of minutes. This compression of the decision cycle represents a significant shift in military strategy. The side that can process intelligence and deploy assets the fastest does not merely respond to threats. It dictates the operational tempo. However, this algorithmic approach to intelligence is not without its strategic and ethical challenges. The processing of vast, multidimensional intelligence outputs by autonomous systems introduces complex risks, including algorithmic biases and the potential for misinterpretation in high-stakes, multi-front conflicts. Maintaining a balance between advanced machine-driven data processing and essential human verification remains an ongoing challenge for the security establishment. Furthermore, cybersecurity is the second pillar of Israel's intelligence and defense overmatch. Ranked among the top global cyber powers, Israel's National Cyber Directorate, INCD, oversees a comprehensive framework for national cyber resilience. The country's understanding that future conflicts would rely on data, information systems, and satellites has positioned it perfectly for contemporary hybrid warfare. By fortifying its own critical infrastructure, such as through the phased migration of governmental IT to secure domestic public cloud infrastructures, Israel seeks to protect its data sovereignty and ensure continuity during hostilities. Ultimately, Israel's intelligence superiority serves as both a shield and a sword. It provides the early warning capabilities necessary to neutralize existential threats before they materialize, while generating immense diplomatic leverage. The sophisticated cyber tools and surveillance platforms developed by Israel's intelligence veterans have also become highly lucrative exports, creating quiet forms of dependency and cooperation with states across the globe. Geopolitical strategy, alliances, economics, and techno-nationalism geopolitics is the stage upon which innovation and intelligence are deployed. For Israel, successfully navigating one of the most challenging international periods in recent memory requires a sophisticated and adaptable geopolitical strategy. The strategic environment is no longer defined purely by conventional state-on-state conflicts. It is characterized by hybrid cyber warfare, non-state proxy networks, and the sweeping restructuring of the global economic order. From a realist perspective, Israel's heavy investment in advanced technologies, such as AI targeting and missile defense systems like the Arrow 3 and Iron Dome, is designed to offset its demographic and geographic vulnerabilities, preserving its qualitative military edge despite the shifting nature of regional threats. However, traditional military power is only one facet of Israel's overarching geopolitical strategy. In an international system increasingly characterized by what analysts term techno-nationalism, Israel has learned to use its technological overmatch as an instrument of statecraft. The core axis of Israel's geopolitical strategy remains its foundational and deep-rooted alliance with the United States. Historically built on direct financial and military aid, this relationship is increasingly evolving into a deep industrial and technological integration. Recognizing shifting political sentiments in Washington regarding foreign cash aid, Israeli officials have proactively engaged the U.S. to reshape long-standing security pacts. The focus of contemporary bilateral agreements, such as those discussed during defense cooperation negotiations, is progressively shifting from direct cash transfers to joint research and development in critical defense technologies. By fusing the industrial scale of the U.S. defense sector with the agile innovation capabilities of Israeli startups, both nations seek to maintain a shared technological lead in areas such as quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and laser weaponry. Simultaneously, Israel has pursued a pragmatic strategy of regional diplomacy, most notably exemplified by the ongoing evolution of the Abraham Accords. Initially viewed as a diplomatic breakthrough, this regional normalization is being quietly cemented by mutual interests in economic resilience, technological collaboration, and shared security concerns. In a region often divided by political and religious tensions, technology serves as an excellent lubricant for diplomacy. Israeli companies are increasingly deploying climate tech solutions, fintech platforms, and health tech systems across the Gulf states and broader Middle East. This dynamic proves that technological and economic collaboration can anchor durable international relationships that outpace conventional political instability. As globalization gives way to a more fragmented network of technology alliances, Israel faces the delicate task of navigating a divided global landscape. As a leading technological hub in the Western Bloc, Israel must balance its deep integration with U.S. and European markets while maintaining the flexibility to operate within a complex global economy. The global strategic competition, particularly the race for AI dominance and semiconductor manufacturing, requires Israel to carefully manage its strategic partnerships. Its strategy reflects a commitment to defending critical infrastructure and participating in international coalitions designed to fortify supply chains and establish global technological standards. Modern challenges and internal dynamics. Securitization versus cohesion. While Israel's technological and intelligence successes are undeniably impressive, analyzing the state's true power requires examining the internal dynamics and systemic challenges that accompany a highly securitized, innovation-driven economy. The immense resources directed toward maintaining technological superiority and intelligence dominance inevitably create friction within Israeli society. A critical domestic issue is the structural inequality inherent in Israel's dual economy model. The high-tech sector, while generating immense wealth and driving the nation's GDP, disproportionately benefits a relatively small segment of the citizenry. This concentration of economic dynamism in central hubs leaves peripheral communities disconnected from the prosperity of the startup nation. Bridging this socio-economic gap remains a fundamental policy challenge for successive Israeli governments, requiring massive investments in education, infrastructure, and workforce development to ensure broader participation in the digital economy. Furthermore, the integration of technology into the social fabric carries profound implications for civil liberties and the nature of warfare. Israel's use of artificial intelligence and autonomous systems in military and intelligence operations, while praised for precision and the compression of battlespace timelines, has ignited vigorous international and academic debates. The reliance on algorithmic systems for targeting necessitates a rigorous evaluation of systemic risks, automated biases, and adherence to international humanitarian law. The deployment of these technologies in asymmetric conflicts shapes the global discourse on the ethics of modern warfare and the urgent need for international ethical guidelines governing AI and lethal autonomous weapon systems. Laws. Internally, the psychological and societal toll of a highly securitized environment cannot be overstated. Mandatory military service, while serving as the great equalizer and a critical incubator for tech talent, means that nearly every Israeli family is directly impacted by the nation's geopolitical realities. The necessity for constant emergency preparedness shapes national identity, influences domestic politics, and dictates public resource allocation. Balancing the imperative for unparalleled national security with the preservation of democratic norms, social cohesion, and civil liberties remains a delicate tightrope walk for Israeli policymakers. Additionally, the sustainability of the innovation ecosystem itself relies heavily on government policy and social stability. The highly skilled professionals who drive the high-tech sector are highly mobile. Prolonged conflicts, economic uncertainties, and internal political disputes regarding the balance of powers can impact the ecosystem, potentially leading to a brain drain of talent or the relocation of vital startups to foreign markets. Maintaining an attractive, supportive environment through tax incentives, continued research grants, and favorable regulations is absolutely critical to ensuring that the country's greatest national asset, its entrepreneurial talent, remains rooted in Israel. The algorithmic battlefield and future strategic thresholds, as we look toward the future, the nature of power in the international system will not be defined solely by economic growth or conventional military strength. The coming decades will be fundamentally shaped by control over technology, data, and algorithms. For Israel, maintaining its strategic edge in this evolving paradigm requires continuous adaptation and substantial investment in the next frontier of technological warfare. The global competition in artificial intelligence is rapidly moving beyond foundational models and software algorithms. Recognizing AI as a fundamental matter of national security, the Israeli government has established specialized directorates to coordinate a cross-ministerial effort aimed at securing long-term global leadership in the field. The state's strategic goal is to harness its strength in solving real-world challenges by creating specialized labs focused on implementing edge solutions across numerous verticals, from smart borders and autonomous drones to medical diagnostics and classroom education. This focus on edge computing, where AI is implemented directly on critical devices rather than relying solely on distant data centers, will be vital for future military and civilian resilience. Furthermore, cybersecurity is evolving into the realm of quantum technology. Quantum computing poses both an incredible asset and an existential threat to modern cryptographic systems. Recognizing this, Israel has committed billions of shekels to a national quantum initiative that bridges defense institutions, academia, and private industry. By developing indigenous capabilities in quantum science, Israel aims to protect its data sovereignty and maintain its superiority in intelligence, gathering, and digital defense for the foreseeable future. In the realm of aerospace and missile defense, Israel continues to push the boundaries of technology to counter increasingly complex aerial threats. Systems like the developmental laser dome, or Iron Beam, represent a paradigm shift in air defense. Unlike traditional interceptor missiles, which are costly and have limited stockpiles, directed energy weapons offer a virtually limitless supply of interception capabilities at a fraction of the cost per shot. This development not only provides immense protection for the home front against barrages of simultaneous aerial threats, but also significantly alters the cost-benefit analysis for adversaries utilizing asymmetric warfare tactics. In the geopolitical sphere, Israel's strategy of techno-nationalism will continue to mature. The country's advanced defense technologies and cyber platforms will become increasingly embedded in the security architectures of allied nations. This deep integration into the security and technological supply chains of Western powers creates profound, long-term strategic relationships that traditional diplomacy could never achieve. By establishing international coalitions and Pax Silica initiatives, Israel aims to fortify technological supply chains and secure its position as a trusted, essential partner in the age of AI. A comprehensive global model. What the world can learn. Israel's strategic triad, innovation, intelligence, and geopolitics, offers a compelling narrative that extends far beyond the confines of the Middle East. In an increasingly unstable and multipolar international system, where traditional alliances are tested and new, non-state threats continually emerge, the Israeli model is being closely studied by researchers, military planners, economists, and political leaders worldwide. The primary lesson of the Israeli experience is that national resilience is multidimensional. A small nation with severe geographical and demographic constraints need not be relegated to a subordinate role in the international order. Through strategic thinking, heavy investment in human capital, and the purposeful integration of technological innovation with national security, small countries can exert outsized influence on the global stage. However, the Israeli model also highlights the inherent dilemmas of prioritizing securitization and algorithmic warfare. The heavy burden of defense expenditures, the societal impact of a constant state of alert, and the ethical debates surrounding the use of artificial intelligence in conflicts provide a cautionary tale for other nations seeking to digitize their security establishments. The international community continually grapples with the need to establish ethical guidelines and legal frameworks for AI and autonomous systems to safeguard civil and social rights. Moreover, the Israeli trajectory demonstrates the power of long-term strategic vision. By adopting artificial intelligence and cyber technology not merely as tools for warfare, but as deliberate strategies for national survival and economic growth, Israel has managed to break the vicious cycle where defense expenditure stifles economic development. By securing a competitive advantage in high-growth, disruptive technologies, Israel transforms a vicious cycle of security and economics into a virtuous loop of technological dominance and economic prosperity. Ultimately, the global economy is no longer purely free. It is increasingly strategic, political, and organized around trust. Israel's position as a leading technological partner within the Western Bloc, coupled with its pragmatic diplomatic overtures in the Middle East, underscores the importance of strategic positioning in emerging alliances. As the world transitions into an era defined by algorithms, quantum computing, and hybrid warfare, the integration of technology, data, and strategic intelligence will continue to dictate the tempo of global affairs. Conclusion: decoding the formula for enduring influence. Decoding the power of Israel requires viewing the nation not merely through the lens of episodic conflicts or headline news, but as a deeply engineered system designed for resilience, intelligence, and strategic influence. The triad of innovation, intelligence, and geopolitics operates in a synchronized feedback loop, where necessity breeds innovation, advanced intelligence guides strategy, and geopolitical maneuvering secures the nation's place in a shifting global order. Israel's journey from a resource-scarce state in 1948 to a formidable technological and strategic power in 2026 is a testament to the power of human ingenuity and resolute statecraft. By converting its geographical disadvantages into the very catalysts that drove its technological and intelligence supremacy, Israel has carved out an indispensable role on the world stage. Its cyber exports, artificial intelligence advancements, and defense technologies shape international security architectures, while its diplomatic agility continues to redefine regional alliances. Yet, this remarkable ascent is accompanied by significant internal and systemic challenges. The economic disparities within its dual economy model, the societal toll of a highly securitized existence, and the ethical complexities of algorithmic warfare remain pressing issues that require careful domestic policy and international consideration. How Israel navigates these internal dynamics while maintaining its qualitative military edge will determine the sustainability of its power in the coming decades. Looking ahead, the Israeli model of techno-nationalism and deep technological integration serves as a blueprint for global power. As the international system restructures around the control of data, algorithms, and emerging scientific frontiers like quantum computing, Israel is exceptionally well-positioned to maintain its leadership. Its ability to fuse the agility of the commercial startup ecosystem with the exacting standards of its intelligence and defense establishments will continue to be a defining feature of its national power. Ultimately, the story of Israel's strength is one of continuous adaptation. It is a story of a nation that understood early on that the battles of the future would not be fought solely on physical terrain, but across the vast, interconnected domains of cyberspace, artificial intelligence, and global data. By mastering these domains, Israel has ensured that its influence extends far beyond its geographic borders, making its strategy a subject of enduring fascination and careful study for the entire world.